home prices will continue to appreciate, rising 2.5% in 2024 and 4.4% in 2025.
Because a lot of the boomers are the ones that have been sitting on their homes. They don't want to sell. They don't want to get rid of them yet.
Oh, obviously, the Fed's been raising rates, mortgage rates above 7%. People don't want to give up that 3% 30-year fix,
So what will 2024 bring for the housing market?
Nearly a quarter of first-time home buyers lived with their parents before buying their own home in 2023. A quarter. What does that tell you about the real estate market or the housing market?
Well, it tells you that it's unattainable for most.
Yes, the 2024 housing market. It's going to be a real interesting ride. Now, rates have gone down some, but yet sales have remained stagnant.
We have to see this shift because we've really had a stalemate this year. We just haven't had a lot of movement. I mean, existing home sales, they also hit a 13-year low this year. So
now it's no secret that inflation has skyrocketed over the past 3 years, especially since you know who got in office. That's right, everything's changed and not in a good way. We're all paying more for everything. And while doing some research, I've noticed some pretty disturbing things. I'll call it a shift. People are searching for things like, I can't pay my credit card payment. I can't make my car payment. I can't sell my house. How do I give back my car? And these topics are not just increasing, they're skyrocketing. And that is a very telling sign, my friends. And the fact that mortgage interest rates are still way higher than they were, this makes many home sellers stay put. We call it the golden handcuffs in the real estate business. Because moving would not benefit you, especially if you had a low rate of interest. So many people are hunkering down. And this, of course, has made inventory stay low and prices stay high. So the fact that rates have gone down recently may not be enough to move the needle in the housing market, especially with the fact that we have such inflationary stress across the nation. And believe it or not, some businesses are benefiting from this golden handcuff situation. And that's because many homeowners are now making repairs to their homes. Home Depot, while even though they've had a decline in sales, have done better than expected because they've been pretty smart about it. Instead of stocking up on expensive home improvement items, they've stocked up on more affordable type improvements, home maintenance, painting, that type of thing. So again, when we step back and look at the market as a whole from that 10,000 foot view, I'm also seeing some other trends, like a rise in credit card debt. We're seeing interest payments on personal debt at an astronomical level. It's reached $500 billion. It's funny, it's like we're seeing a mirror image of the interest on our national debt. That's scary. And the cost of living, it's obviously on the rise. I'm sure you've felt it when you open your car insurance bill or you go to the grocery store. It all just continues to go up and up. And of course, it hits everybody in the same place, in our wallets. So there is some speculation that our inventory will rise and that housing prices will fall and it will spark an increase in sales. And that could happen. It could, but I'm not so sure that scenario will actually happen. Because you have to ask yourself, where are you going to go? A home seller would need to move more than likely to another state where the home prices were more affordable or where the property taxes were lower, because moving within your same city typically would not benefit you. If anything, it would cost you more money in taxes and more money for the house. Sure, life events do happen, and if they do, people will move, but it will cost them. And currently in this market, we literally have divorced people still living together because they can't afford to buy another property, pay a higher rate of interest, or they just can't qualify for the mortgage on their own individually. And at the last Fed meeting, Jerome Powell had this to say.
As I noted earlier, since early last year, we have raised our policy rate by 5.25 percentage points. and we have decreased our securities holdings by more than $1 trillion. Our restrictive stance of monetary policy is putting downward pressure on economic activity and inflation. The committee decided at today's meeting to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 5.25% to 5.5%.
And while he's not increasing rates right now, the market went crazy over this remark.
While participants do not view it as likely to be appropriate to raise interest rates further, neither do they want to take the possibility off the table. If the economy evolves as projected, the median participant projects that the appropriate level of the federal funds rate will be 4.6% at the end of 2024, 3.6% at the end of 2025, and 2.9% at the end of 2026.
So personally, I think that was a strategic comment. He knows very well that everybody hangs on every single word he says, and they take it literally. Because there's no actual commitment to lower the Fed fund rate to 4.6.
These projections are not a committee decision or plan. If the economy does not evolve as projected, the path of policy will adjust as appropriate to foster our maximum employment and price stability goals.
That was floated around by other committee members. But then, it is an election year, so maybe they will. I know nothing surprises me these days. But if they were to do this, it would cause a problem with inflation. And he continues to hammer home that they want to bring inflation down to 2%. And lowering the interest rate is not going to do that. And the only reason they lower interest rates is if we have an economic slowdown. Do you think actually it will cause a landslide in the real estate market? A landslide of houses being listed and everybody's gonna drop their price? Doubtful. The bottom line is it's supply and demand. Until we get to like a buyer's market with 6 months of inventory, these prices are not going to drop off the face of the earth.
What I will say, because I know you like predictions, I do think we're going to see housing prices continue to go up this year because mortgage rates are going to fall. And those folks who are living with mom and dad, their demand, they want to buy a home. And as soon as they see any kind of a crack, like mortgage rates falling a point and a half, they're going to jump into the housing market. And we've done nothing to create enough supply for all of those buyers.
We're at about 3.5 months of inventory, so it's going to have to double. And as I mentioned, where's the seller going to go right now if the prices are high? And even if they were to drop, he's getting less for his house. So they're going to have to weigh whether it's truly beneficial to them to put their house on the market and sell. The people that will sell will be those that want to move to another state. Maybe they need to retire, they've had a life event, or they need to move for a job relocation because they can no longer work from home. I think in most cases, people who list their home will need to. It's a need. They have to. It's not an election I want, it's I need to. And if inventory were to rise a great deal and prices were to fall, and you knew you were no longer going to get top dollar for your home, you wouldn't sell your house unless you absolutely needed to. So what I'm trying to say, I personally think there's still going to be a lot of sellers sitting on the sidelines. So I think 2024 is going to be a big nothing burger when it comes to the housing market. I think rates will fall slightly. I think inventory will rise nominally. And I think prices will level off, not drop off the face of the earth. Yes, people will have to wait to 2025 to see a pivot in the real estate market. What will that pivot be? Well, I think we'll see something happen in November of 2024. I think what happens on November 2nd of 2024 will set the direction of the housing market and the direction of this country. It's gonna be a real nail biter. If you got some value out of this video, make sure to hit the like button. It really does help me out. I greatly appreciate it. Share the video if you can, and of course consider subscribing because I'd love to have you as part of my YouTube family. My name is Lisa, and I make content on current events, real estate, and life uncensored. I hope I see you here again. Take care. And make sure to watch this next upcoming video. It's a real eye-opener.